Hello there, once again welcome to Speedway Gladiators, the program that looks at Speedway, particularly here at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway. Coming up on the program tonight, it is the Superstock Masters. We talk to Kerry Remnant, the current defending champion, and Wayne Hemi, just two of the Masters that will be racing tonight. We had an opportunity this week to go down to UCOL Paint and Panel to have a look at the cars they're putting in the Jack Links Ramp Derby tonight. And also, of course, the track is new at Palmerston North. There's been a new track laid a couple of weeks ago. We catch up with track manager Bryan Puklowski to find out what it's all about and what he hopes it's going to bring to the racing. This is Speedway Gladiators with the compliments of Video Hub. We had the Masters Superstock series here in Palmerston North a few years ago now. Let's just go back and refresh our memories of what happened.
This is Heat 2 underway with hard-taught every finishes.
Scott Myers takes the early lead in the 8P Jake Baker car.
Then you've got Craig Humphreys in the 98 car sitting in second at the moment. He wouldn't have been in the Superstock for a couple of seasons. There we go. We've got Myers, Myers, Humphreys, Fabrish, Parker, Daisy and Jude. They're your first four.
Scott Myers has had a lot of luck in that car. He's come 4 NZ, I think it is, and he's come close at the World 240s. He's actually driven that car really beautifully all season when he's had the opportunity.
54 has come onto the grass plate high. Will he join? He might join, he may not. Let's wait and see.
Scott Myers has done plenty of laps around this track in his day, so he knows this track like the back of his hand.
We've got 5 laps of one, 5 laps to go. Myers, Humphreys, Fabrish, Parker, Bar, Daisy, Hemi and Jude.
Mike Pye gets spun around and goes up on 2 wheels.
Here we are, we've got 2 laps to go. White flag will come out any moment. Still Scott Myers, Craig Humphreys second, Fabrish in third, Bar, Daisy, Hemi, Parker. That's a great performance for Craig Humphreys. He hasn't been in a Superstock for a little while. The white flag's out.
Scott Myers has just set the record for this event, and he's got a 17.9.
That's quick. Most of them are doing 18, some are doing 19s, but there we are, the flag's got out. Scotty Myers, former Panther captain, of course, has taken it. Craig Humphreys is second at 98p. Graham Barr picked up the third at 32p. There we are. 31, Alan, that's McCabe straight away into the front, 31p. Andy McCabe, 45 out of Gisborne. He's on the grass, but he's back on the track again. Steve Jude not far behind him as well. But Andy McCabe has got, heads and shoulders. He's probably 50 metres ahead of the second place car. McCabe, that's McCabe, Fletcher, Parker, Nartai, Scott Myers and Paul Daisy. They get first half a dozen.
Myers in second place is currently leading the points on 53 if they finish this way.
They don't have 98p in there, so I can't really say what the points
he's
are.
a point back, so he needs to actually move up in front of Hilton Parker. So Craig Humphreys will be wanting to pass the 321 car. That'll cause a runoff.
Imagine a runoff between him and Scott Myers.
And it looks like he's just about to do that. Yes.
Right through on the inside.
Here we go. Craig Humphreys will want that victory.
Yep, provisionally tied on points.
So you got McCabe first at 31p, then you got Myers, Humphreys, Parker, Nartai, Ty and Graham Barr. But Andy McCabe, he's keeping it very tight, very clean, Mr. Smooth.
I'm just more thinking if Craig Humphreys beats Scott Myers in a runoff, then David's breakfast is going to be on the house too, not just his coffee.
Oh, Graham Barr's been taken out by Wayne Hemi. But I'd say that's a bit of payback for race 1.
So Andy McCabe is the 31p car is first. Scott Myers is in second. Humphreys last lap.
Here we go, 53 apiece. Scott Myers and Craig Humphreys. It will go to a runoff at this stage. Into the final bend. Andy McCabe takes the victory, but it's between Scott Myers and Craig Humphreys.
Well, the current defending champion for the Masters Superstocks is Kerry Remnant. We spoke to Kerry earlier in the week. Unfortunately, the internet connection wasn't as good as it could have been, and we Caught up with him and I asked him, Kerry, it's a huge weekend coming up. You're the defending champion. What's on your mind?
Yeah. It's with COVID, it's been put years. It was last run in 2020 down in Miami. So yeah, it's been a few years.
The Masters, it's an incredible series. So many drivers, all still racing, over 40. Some of them have had a lot of years' experience. This is something really special for Palmerston North.
Yeah, there's a few of us old fellas still around. I see the list is looking pretty good. It keeps changing, but there's definitely a few tenders in there and a few outsiders that have come back in just for the meeting by the look. So yeah, it should be a good weekend.
You're racing against the creme de la creme of Superstock racing in New Zealand. You've got yourself, of course. You've got Wayne Hemi, among others.
We did the Masters in 2020 in Napier, and they get our grid draws for the first race. They basically got us to line up who's oldest at the front, and then work your way backwards. And that was how they worked out the grid draws for the first race. And back in 2020, the Clive was up the front, and then it was Pat Westbury and a few others. And I sort of looked at a few of the boys and thought, I'll go and stand about halfway. And there's old Peter Benson. I thought, I'll go and stand behind him somewhere. Next thing you know, I was a few ahead of Pete, and I was bloody grid 7 or something.
Well, Kerry, you're the defending champion. Do you race this series any differently? Because all of the drivers racing tonight have all had probably 20 plus years experience, as opposed to a normal Superstock racer with guys having a different amount of experience in each vehicle.
I've done a couple of the Masters, 2019 and the 2020. The racing was a little bit tamer. Basically, there was no big takeouts or anything. It was just lazy, race hard, race fair, and everyone was on the same wavelength, which is good.
I agree with you. I don't think there'll be any hard takeouts because nobody wants any injuries out of the series. But I guess you just have to do a little bit of bumping, use the bumper to move people out of the way enough to get through to the front.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it'll be a full-on team sort of race come the third race, but there might be a bit of blocking in there for a few tracks maybe. But yeah, like I did the other ones, it was just race hard, race fair, and there was a winner at the end of it, and it wasn't always about the winner. We all had a good laugh and we enjoyed a beer afterwards,
Kerry, you've got a great record, particularly here at Palmerston North. You've got something like 28 teams races in a row, or teams appearances in a row. With the Busters mainly, you've taken, I think, 3 titles. What are you going to be doing? Are you still coming back for teams next year?
Yeah. I'd like to do 30 consecutive. That's sort of where I'm at now. This year will be 28, this February will be 28. We'll get to 30. We'll aim for 30, and then we'll see what happens after that.
What is it about teams racing that you enjoy so much?
It's just a buzz, and it's an adrenaline buzz. And it's a thing. It's you got to go there and think. It's some people have got it, some people haven't. And yeah, I don't know. It just sort of comes naturally now. But people say, "Oh, how do you do that?" And you can't really explain it anymore. But it's just a buzz, and obviously the hype of winning it. I've done that 3 times with the buses, and it's just unreal. I think you put it well ahead of an individual title. So obviously the hype of the event helps with everything. But yeah, it's pretty cool, all right.
G'day Wayne, good to see you. You've been around the Palmerston North track a time or two. What is it about Superstock racing that you still enjoy?
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I know Jake's always done a good job at putting an event on. He's very good at promoting his events and everything. And unfortunately, I don't think I've done a Masters with Jake because he's had them in generally in Miami or somewhere else, and I've always been committed to somewhere else. But I'm certainly excited to come racing this Saturday with all those old drivers. It's the sport's certainly evolved. It's certainly changed. Has it got harder on the track? Not really. I was brought up racing against Dave Evans, Barry Hunter, Tony McClanahan, all these old tough drivers, and they certainly gave you the argy-bargy if you're in the way, and you hit the fence as hard as you did then as you would today. But, obviously today, with the sport evolving, there's a lot more faster cars and competitive drivers on the track at once, where before there was probably, a handful. I've had a look through the entry list, and we've got Peter Rees, Scott Myers, Graham Barr, very good drivers, absolutely superstars. Today, they're still currently, Peter Rees is still a freaking competitive driver today. So there's a few drivers there that are really competitive today, but there's certainly some drivers in that field that have been extremely competitive. When you look at the likes of Graham Barr, that's been 3NZ, 3 times in a row, and drivers like that certainly will be putting the pace on as well. So I don't think there's any favourites there.
Do you think the dynamics of this race would be different to a normal Superstock race when you've got drivers with varying degrees of talent and experience?
I think it will be. I think amongst all those drivers, there's a good mutual respect for each other and where we've come from and how long we've been racing. So I don't think you're going to get there and you're going to arsehole someone over the fence and try and roll them over and wreck people. I think it's going to be just a really competitive, side rail to side rail racing. It would be more of I'm thinking it's going to be racing on pace rather than racing aggressively, I think, and that's just through mutual respect.
Just highlighting one of the drivers that has been around a long time. In fact, you raced with him in the early days in Wellington, Clive Elliott. Clive's been racing Superstocks for a great number of years now.
Yeah, I think it's always a pleasure to have Clive on the track. He's actually a fast driver. If he gets out in front, sometimes he takes some passing if you're going to pass him, and you don't really want to belt him out the way. You try and pass him nicely, and but a very competitive driver. I mean, when I was a kid back in the 70s, I used to go to Timaru Speedway with my dad and my mum. Clive was there racing, and he was the fastest driver at Timaru at that time. So I can remember him as before I was a teenager.
Now that you're getting a little bit senior, wouldn't it be nice, say, on a Saturday night to jump into the lazy boy, put up the footrest, get a cold one out of the fridge, watch a movie on television? Wouldn't you rather do that?
It's a serious drug, isn't it, the Speedway? We can't get out of it. Dave Evans come up to me, and Dave Evans is a really nice person, I actually kind of idolised Dave Evans. I always have, and I think the whole Speedway community know that Dave Evans has always been held in high regard. I used to watch him when I was a young fella, and then I raced against him and all that, and I was lucky enough to buy his car, and I was probably lucky enough that he talked to us, because he's very selective on who he wants to talk with. But he said to me a few years back, he goes, "I don't mean to say anything out of place, Wayne, but," he goes, "just so you know, there is life after racing when you're ready to retire." So I laughed at that. I laughed at it, but now we see he's back. Now we see he's back racing there in the old cars, so he's certainly enjoying that as well.
Well, it's going to be an interesting weekend. We've got a brand new track. It'll be interesting to see how the Supers handle it, and I'll be interested in your comments a bit later on how you find the track.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we just have to adapt to that, and there's a big meeting on this weekend. Not just the Masters, but we've got a team race in there with the Wellington and the Young Guns and the Pumas, and we've got the fireworks. It's actually going to be a really spectacular night, I think, and just hopefully the weather plays kind to us. We can finally open up the throttle again.
Wayne, thanks for your time, mate. It's always good to catch up with you. The very best of luck in the Masters Series tonight. We wish you well, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you on the podium at the end of the night. Well, Santa's come early to Palmerston North. We've got a brand new track. What do you mean a brand new track? What's different from the last track we've had? Well, it's changed. There's been something like 350 tonne of lime and clay being added to the track. Why do we have to do that? We caught up with track manager Bryan Puklowski and asked him just that. Puck, people look at the track and they just think, well, it's dirt, it's clay. Why do we need a new track?
Well, we were running out of material. The track was getting quite hollowed in the middle. Over the years, we're probably 2 or 3 years since we've done it, so it needed topping up. So we ripped the track first and got some clay from nearby and some lime from over Markuri Way. Put about 400 tonne in total on, and rotary hoed it up 3 times and laid it back down and rolled it quite a bit.
You say you needed to top it up, so obviously the material was disappearing, leaving. Is it all leaving under cars and on top of cars?
Well, it leaves on the cars. The cars take a bit away each week, and obviously we wash down the whole stadium every week. And we probably take 10, 15 tonne away a month of wash-up material.
What are you trying to achieve? What would be a perfect track, if there is such a thing?
Oh, the perfect scenario is plenty of drive and no tyre wear. But we're here in Palmy, we run obviously several different classes, and it's hard to get the happy medium for, you know, motorbikes compared to big wheel cars, which like a real drivey heavy track. So they got plenty of drive and traction, where the side cars are probably a little bit the opposite. Don't like the heavy track, but like a nice drivey track. So it's a bit of a happy medium. That's why we put a bit of lime in it as well to one, help bind the clay together, and two, make it multi-purpose really.
What is the secret of preparing a good track? Every week you've got to look at it and think, now where is the track at the moment? What do I now need to do to get it good for the weekend?
Well, we're lucky in Palmerston here. We've got a good team of guys behind, especially like Sir Robbie Anderson, the grader driver, and he's got years of experience of working here at the Speedway, probably 30 or 40 years he's been here doing the Speedway track for different promoters. So we got him on board, which is a great asset, and also a guy who tests our clay and lime, etc.
So lime is different?
All lime's different.
Yeah, okay.
The lime's different all over the country, got different characteristics. So Dennis Todd, who's been working with roads for years, he's on board as well, gives us a hand in that aspect of it. So I suppose it's like mixing a K-cup. We try to get the right ingredients when we put it in there and mix it up, and then if it's a real fine week, we probably start watering on Wednesday, just building up to Saturday.
Look at the forecast and
study the
you've
forecast.
got to believe anyway, because they're all different too, aren't they?
Yeah, all the forecasts are different, so you just got to, obviously here in Palmy, the watering on the grandstand side's a lot less than the embankment side because of the shading, etc. So you just don't drive round and round with a water truck. You got to read the track, how it's sucking up the water and how it holds the water as well.
Well, Puck, well, good luck for the track. Let's keep the fingers crossed that it's going to be exactly what you want, and it's going to last exactly as long as you want it to last.
Yep, hopefully everything's good, and no doubt we'll hear about it on Saturday.
You probably will.
And hear about it on Sunday as well.
And probably for the next week as well.
Yeah.
Bryan Puklowski, track manager here at the Robertson Prestige International Speedway. During the week we went down to UCOL Panel and Paint. They've got 6 cars in the Jack Links Ramp Derby tonight. We went down to have a look and see how they prepared those cars. We're down at UCOL, and the reason we're down at UCOL is because UCOL always put in a team of cars in the Derby, and certainly this weekend is absolutely no exception. Beautifully prepared. The blue and the orange team cars, and Ash is one of the guys that is down here. Mate, you've had some experience on the track yourself.
Yes, a few years ago now.
How did UCOL first become involved in derbies?
So I think it was a few years before I got here, or a couple of years before I got here. It was already running then, and it was more just an interest thing to get the cars out there, get our name out there, and do stuff like that. Yeah. Since I've come along, I've been here 12 years, we sort of upped the ante a little bit and started doing the teams racing and just changed the cages around a little bit, and
Yeah, what you needed to do to make them
just make them safe. We've got to, put in students in them, we need to make them safe. So
Sure. Yeah. Any trouble getting drivers?
So the way we select the drivers is generally works on attendance. So we say right at the start of the year, we'll say, look, best attendance, you're going to get the drive. So generally that happens at the end of the year. Best attendance will get the first tick, and then the rest of that, after that, names go into the hat, and other drivers are selected from there.
So you find the cars, and you prepare them, you paint them.
So we're lucky. We've got a good relationship with Puck down at the Speedway here, and they look after us a lot with everything. Yep. They give us a few cars and stuff like that as well. So how it works generally is we get the cars here, we'll strip them all, the students will learn all their interior and exterior work on them, pull them apart, put them back together, paint them all up nice, and then we basically strip them all out again, turn them into derby cars. So the way it works, these cars here, they cover virtually all of the learning outcomes of our course. So they're doing fiberglassing with the little scoops and stuff they make. Sometimes they have to do some plastic welding on the bumpers to make them look good. We're doing all MIG welding, gas welding, and then they fully panel and paint them.
And then what happens to the car after that?
So basically, once they've destroyed it, if it's usable again, we'll put them on the chassis machine and give them a bit of a yank around. Otherwise, they're off back down to the wreckers, and we just cut the roofs off, get our cages out, and reuse the cages over and over.
Ash was saying that you guys have been involved in derbies for quite some time.
Yes, they have been involved, so the students really love as part of the program being able to come in and work on the derby cars and get them up to spick and span condition to go out and wreck them and have to work on them again the next year.
And have a car ready. Now the Speedway provides you with a few cars every now and again?
Yes, they do indeed, yes. So they've provided us with a couple for this year, so I've managed to get one with even my name on it. So,
Good heavens, we'll talk about that in a moment because you're not going to escape that one. The other thing too, it's obviously an important part of the program.
It is a vital
because it's hands-on, isn't it?
It is, it's very hands-on. So the whole collision repair program is really hands-on, it's very practical. So the students are spending, I would say, 95% of their time in the workshop doing both their theory and practical parts. But to take a car that's come back from the derby to bring it up to standard is a whole lot of practical work.
Where did the idea come from? I mean, it's a great idea. It's really hands-on, isn't it?
It is, it's really hands-on. I know the relationship between Speedway here and Palmerston North and UCOL has been very strong for quite some time. So I think in just over time it has built up to where we've got it to now, which is great to be able to provide the opportunity to the students to have that hands-on experience.
How many students would go through in a year?
So we have both a full year intake which starts in February and a mid-year intake which starts in August. So we're roughly looking at between probably 14 to 18 students per intake.
And you get a lot of ladies among them as well?
We do indeed, yeah.
Is that increasing, have you noticed?
Yes, it is. So even this year I've noticed we've got about 3 young ladies within one of our groups, which is really awesome to see.
Now you're driving yourself?
I am indeed, yes.
Now, was this your idea? Was it somebody else's idea? Or did you just lose the raffle?
I would like to say that the lecturers, Ash and Phil, quite kindly put their hand up for me and decided that this is the second time I've done it now.
Oh, second time?
Yep.
So you know what to expect?
I think it's worse the second time round, yep.
Because you know what's going to happen.
I know what is going to happen.
So, Kelly, all the best for Saturday night.
Thank you.
For the derby, and all the best for the program.
Thank you very much,
David. Hope it continues long and is very successful.
Beautiful.
Seems to be successful now, doesn't it?
It is. Yep.
So people come along, at least this summer in Palmerston North, if you're interested in paint and panel.
Absolutely, come in and see us.
Come in and talk to the UCOL team.
Yep.
And they'll give you all the information. Right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
we will indeed.
Kelly Johnson, she's the Ayatollah, if you like, of the paint and panel program here at UCOL. Matthew and Logan, a couple of guys that are going to be driving the derby in the UCOL derby on Saturday night with new cars in the derby. Now, mate, have you been in a derby before?
No, I haven't. But you know, it's going to be a good first experience, I reckon. I'm really keen for it. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
How did you get selected? Bad luck or what?
Yeah, I guess so. No, it was based on attendance and stuff. So, yeah, unluckily I got picked, but you know, I'll do my best.
Okay, now have you talked to anyone else that's been in a derby? Do you know what to expect?
No, not really, but I've watched a couple of videos and I'm just going to go out there, hit a bunch of cars, you know, drive fast, do what I can do, you know. But
well, I'll talk to Len and see what he thinks. He might be the biggest threat you've ever got.
Yeah, maybe.
Go ahead, mate, and before we talk to you about your thoughts, how did you prepare for it? Have you gone through the car? What sort of car have you gone?
So I believe it is a early 2000s Toyota Gracia, number 13.
So you were selected because of your attendance and all of that kind of thing as well?
Yeah, I was selected based on my attendance.
Okay. Now, when they said, right, you're it, were you pretty happy about that? Or did you think,
I was a bit surprised, to be honest. Yeah. But it was a pretty welcome surprise.
Okay. So. All right, guys, all the very best. Thanks for taking some time and good luck for the derby. All the best. A couple of the guys from UCOL, they are in the derby. I'm sure they'll do well. The derby's coming up a little bit later on tonight. The Jack Links
ramp derby. This is where they shoot over the ramp. It's one of the many attractions coming up a little bit later on.
Always fun to see the ramp derby back again. Lots of cars. It's always attracted a large amount of entries. We've got a lot of entries for the ramp derby tonight. Let's go back and have a look at other derbies.
There we go. We're racing. Demon Energy Ramp Derby. Ben Johnson, very experienced in these derbies. He's off the front. Already we've had a turn around 11. Casey James has been turned. 103 is Jason Barton. Over the ramp they go. There we are, 3 straight into the wall. Taken in by 33. That's Bevan Johnson. He's been around for a long time, probably the most experience out there. Oh, one went sideways over the ramp. Medal of Allen, 99.
Oh, here comes Derby Carl into a parked car. The 126. He's going to get served up again. No, he's underway again, the 126. Pulls out in front of the 69 as well. And we go red. Oh, the 14 straight into the parked car. Right, white flag will be out this time round for the 119. Here he comes, white flag, 1 to go. 119, your race leader.
That's Steve Reed.
Steve Reed, yep. Should have a checkered flag this time round. Should do. Yes, here we go. Right. There we go, 119. Three laps later, we got the checkered flag out, Dave.
Well, we finally did. We finally had a winner.
That was great. Awesome.
Steve Reed took it out. Well done. Congratulations.
Yep.
Well, that's Speedway Gladiators for another Saturday night with the compliments of Video Hub. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. We look forward to seeing how the track is going to perform tonight, and we look forward to seeing you back with us next Saturday night for another in the programs of Speedway Gladiators.